I actually, first of all, I embrace the idea of the Peace and Reconciliation Commission. But I also believe that there should be another body working to prosecute those who bear the greatest crime in Liberia, especially when we already know some of the people. My take is, if we have to come here to tell you when we already know some of the people who have committed these crimes, I think the healing process is good. I think to write the history book is good, but I also think that we need some form of prosecution. And for us to have Taylor prosecuted for Sierra Leone, where 50,000 people died, and in Liberia, where we had over 250,000, and there has not been an indictment, one indictment on Mr. Taylor, I think it's a joke. I think it's like, to me, we're joking with the process. I think we should indict Mr. Taylor too, and all those who participated or who bear the greatest crime. And I think that's where I stand when it comes to this issue. So I don't know if you got a statement, any response, but that's just my side of it. I think for Sierra Leone.
Did you call your name?
Yeah, it hurts me to hear that Mr. Taylor is in jail because of Sierra Leone, when 250,000 people die in our country, and we know that, and he's in jail for another country.
When last were you in Liberia?
I went to Liberia in 2005, I think.
When did you leave Liberia to settle?
I left Liberia 1992.
1992.
Yeah.
You experienced the war, right?
I experienced the war.
Have you made a statement to the TRC?
Well, yes.
You've done that already?
Yes, I did.
And you name a lot of perpetrators who are prosecutable?
Well, I made my statement.
You made a statement?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get the name initially. Can you?
Jackson George.
Jackson George. Thank you very much. But only thing I would say is that the TRC is an offshoot of the peace agreement. And the TRC is supposed to lead on to other processes, depending on what these 8 ladies and gentlemen decide. That is why we want your support, so that you can help us to make the right decisions. Sierra Leone is Sierra Leone, Liberia is Liberia. We do not draw out indictment. We are not a prosecuting institution. We were established long after Taylor had left the country and was under the jurisdiction of an institution outside of Liberia. But we hope, as my colleagues have said, at the end of the day, and as Professor Wesley has said also, you all will pray for the commission that will not be stupid in making recommendations.
And my fear is you're making recommendations to the very people who are in government.
So what should we do?
Which is a good thing. I think the recommendation, that's why I say embrace the peace process, but I also think the people who sat on the table to create this peace process were the same players, so they took care of themselves. And I think it's about time for us to see beyond the time that they took care of themselves, sitting on our table, talking about peace, setting up the very TRC, which is a good thing, but we need to start thinking beyond that. And the recommendation, I'm hopefully, that the recommendation that we who are the Liberian people will put more pressure. I think that we need to start working on the pressure piece, so that when you make your recommendation, we can add more pressure to it, to bear on government, and so that something can happen. But apart from that, as Liberians, it's scary.
That is why, don't just express fear, do something to alleviate that fear. That is why we are here to meet up with you also, to let you know you have a part to play. So let us start working together to make sure that the TRC does the right thing. Monitor the TRC, evaluate the TRC, follow the process, get involved and make sure the proper recommendations are made as a first step, and the second step that they are implemented. But thank you very much.